Hello. Yeah, what we saw last night was a fabulous performance. Another one from Usic. And it was a much better fight than last time, of course. Much more competitive fight. So I had 116 to 112 for Usyk. I really don't see how anybody can give that fight to Joshua. Joshua. Even 115, 113 was a little bit, too close for Usyk, I mean. But anyway, because that eighth round, I just barely gave it to Joshua because he landed the biggest shots, but he also kept taking a lot of blows. It's just that they weren't really hurting him. But yeah, I know I gave him rounds 2, 3, 8, and 9. Yeah, that's right. So the rest of it was all Usyk, or for the most part him. Yeah, I mean the way he Usyk bounced back after the ninth round was really, amazing, stuff from Rocky, and yeah, I just knew that it would be very hard, or if not impossible, for Joshua to beat Usyk this time. I knew that he would probably put on a better performance, but beating a guy like Usyk, with his movement, his defense, his toughness, everything, constant pressure, counter punching, no way. But I think this is a good thing for Joshua because now he can stop, thinking that he can just avenge every loss and beat everyone. He's no Lennox Lewis, right? And even Lennox Lewis didn't have to fight a guy like Alexander Usyk, that's for sure. So, yeah, I don't think he would have done that much better. Well, probably a little better anyway. But yeah, this is just a different type of fighter, nimbler, faster, not too small, but not too big either. So yeah, I mean Joshua afterwards was like very dramatic, in the ring after the fight, was saying stuff like he's not a 12-round fighter, he's a new breed of heavyweight. But that's not hardly a new breed. Heavyweights were anyway from the, well, let's say from the 90s, if not before, they were always primarily fighters who, tried to knock out their opponents, and very often they did. So this is not nothing new. A guy, a heavyweight who always goes for a knockout. No way, man. It's only those who don't have enough power that don't always go for a knockout, and are not that big. Yeah. So that was one hell of a fight, especially the last 4 rounds were amazing. Action rounds, yeah, definitely. In the 10th, Joshua managed to land one big hand, but that wasn't enough. It kind of rattled Usyk, but that guy's got a chin of iron. No way. You are not knocking him out just like that. No way. So I'm glad that finally they can shut up about it. Because was so annoyed by this talk. Everybody was focusing on Joshua so much in the build up, and him getting his revenge. And Robert Garcia was talking, blah, 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 everybody was just talking a lot of crap, as if they were actually, as if they were almost certain that Joshua would win this time. But no, he did not, nowhere near that. He might have been near the ninth round, but he still didn't even knock down Usyk. Usyk is just a tough guy. That said, one tough SOB. So now, hopefully, Usyk goes on to win, to fight. I mean, and probably win against. I don't know if Fury will be interested in fighting him. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, there are some other options, of course. Let's take a look at who else is out there at heavyweight. Well, we got yeah, Joseph Parker is fighting what's his name, Joe Joyce, yeah, so Luis Ortiz, Martin. Frank Sanchez, I think, would probably be a good fight for Usyk because both guys, he's not a really big puncher, like a huge puncher. He wins. He won his last two fights, on points, even though he scored knockdowns in both against FL Jagba and Christian Hammer. And it's not that he can't punch, but he's not a really massive puncher, I'd say. And he's just an inch taller than Usyk, so also there is a pretty winnable. But I can see it a lot more, even more competitive than this fight last night. Of course, we have Hergovich, who actually now I believe, well, almost became some sort of a mandatory, the IBF. Yeah, this was the IBF eliminator that he won last night. I'm gonna say a few things about that fight too, just a few seconds. Yeah, Hergovich should be, well, a challenging fight. Yeah, it's alright because Hergovich is also very tall, very big, heavy, rather heavy, can box, can hit pretty good, and but I see also Usyk beating him, so you know, I don't really see Hergovich winning that fight. Not after last night. Of course, we had well, Helenius, well, Tony Yoka. So those are sorry, some of the guys Usyk might fight. Daniel Dubois, I don't know, maybe he's now actually the WBA regular champion, but I don't think they will be in a hurry to make that fight his people. And yeah, Mr. Herbert, she was back also last night. Well, that was a pretty, also another exciting fight, and Herbert, she got cut, and that was not a good place to be here, like somewhere here, and it seemed to affect him, somewhat. Actually, yeah, it did. Because at some certain points he was like looking pretty disoriented, like starting to go, to the corner and stuff. He with his guard down, and he got knocked down the first round. He was in charge before that, so I didn't score it a 10-8 round for Jean because he was just happened to catch him like this, a very like wide punch swinging like on the side of the head and almost on the back, and yeah, pull him down. So what Jean proved last night is that he has a really great chin, and then that he's probably an even bigger puncher than Hurgovich. Even though it's not fair because there was quite a big weight disparity between them, like 50 kilos or around 30 pounds. So, you know, but still, Hergovich was unable to really hurt Zhang. He did kind of manage to hurt him in the last round. He had him against the ropes, and Zhang, of course, he gassed in the last 5, 6 rounds, especially the last three. He wasn't really there. He was just fighting in spurts. So I thought Courage definitely deserved to win this fight, but he didn't really look good, winning. So that's the problem. Yeah, so he wasn't. He didn't look good, but he won anyway. So that's the important thing. Sometimes it was his first fight, I believe, in a long time. Anyway, I don't think it was his first fight this year, or was it? Or actually, it was the first one in 8 months. So also after his father died. But this was his first true test. So, fighting guys like Amir Mansour, Kevin Johnson, and Eric Molina can hardly be called true tests. They were all past it, and neither of them, were really good. Well, Amir Mansour, maybe, well, he is a puncher, but he was definitely an old guy who had been stopped already more than once and stuff like that. So, Hergovic has now actually is a mandatory for Usyk as you know the first ranked number one ranked IBF guy. But when that fight will happen, we'll see. I don't know. It's probably the probable Hergovic might have to fight someone else first. He's only got 15 fights after all, but he's already 30, so he cannot wait that long anyway. Yeah, and then there was Callum Smith. Yeah, well, that was a pretty, not very long fight, but very exciting. Yeah, he scored a really spectacular knockout, against Matthew Boderlik, who was really doing well before that. I think I gave him the first 2 rounds actually, even though they were competitive, but he kept hitting Smith pretty, you know, a lot in those rounds. So in the fourth, Smith just simply kept caught him with his massive left hook, and that was the beginning of the end. Then once again, just landed on a big one. That was all she wrote. So yeah, I kind of I see some people are down on Smith, but I kind of have high hopes for him because of his athleticism, his ability to land those left hooks, and his height also, which is a major factor. There aren't many guys at 175 that are as tall as him, or much less, that are taller. So that can always, of course, be an advantage if it's used right. Yeah, if you know how to use it, why not? But he's got major power. Obviously, that left hook, especially concussive power, terrible. So yeah, he moves on to 29-1, 21 knockouts. We also had Badu Jack fighting, yeah, last night. That was not a pretty sight. Well, it was a pretty good fight too. As random text comes said, well, that was one hell of a fight too. Yeah, yeah, he struggled. He really, but I didn't come to that fight. Didn't start watching before the fourth round. So, but what I saw, it was a very close, very even fight. Could have gone either way. But I cannot tell really if Jack deserved to win it. I know my friend Jamie Bourne, he said, hello Jamie, uh, he thought that Jack should have lost that fight, that he lost. So he got caught with uppercuts repeatedly, which is not a good sign, of course. And this guy Martinez, he looked really determined, and he kind of gassed towards the end, the last 3 rounds. Wasn't. That's what kind of gave Jack the victory because he closed stronger. I think Jack should retire because he's gonna be 39 soon, and at cruiserweight he wasn't a big puncher and super middleweight. So at cruiserweight he cannot hope to win many fights early, and if he has to go 12 rounds every time or 10 at least, he fights. That takes away really how do you say it, it kind of eats you away. Eventually, your legs and all that. Yeah. So I mean, if this fight was against some top guy, really top cruiserweight, and if it had been 12 rounds, he would probably been stopped, in the end. But he is a tough guy, no doubt about it. He did get knocked out once. That was a freak accident early on, but he at cruiserweight, I don't think he can achieve much simply. And being as old as he is, it would be better for him if he retired. He was unlucky, of course. He thought he should have won against Pascal, and he got caught badly against Brown, and he should have won against De Gale and maybe even Stevenson. Not sure. I gotta watch that one again. So anyway, yeah, he was very good, but now he still had the good counter punching, the precision. He caught Martinez with many good left hooks and that, but other than that, seems pretty wide open. That's the problem, for uppercuts anyway. Yeah, Richard Rivera. Sorry, that guy's name was Rivera, not Martinez. Well, anyway, yeah, he was a very good, pretty good fighter, Popeye. Yeah. So that's all the fights that I watched anyway last night. There was one hell of a night. I was really waiting, looking forward to this. All right, take it easy. Bye bye.